This is a quick video on how to put together two scans. So let's get our two scans. Our samples are here. I will download them, click on these dots, and you will get the download button. Here's the second one. Now you have your two files, and you can go to your downloads or wherever your scans are. So here's my two scans. I will open that folder. I'm going to select both of these, and I will open them in Photoshop. I'm just going to right click on them, and then I will open, or I'll select open with. And that should show me Photoshop eventually. There it is. And then you will open up those two files. Okay, you do have two images here. So at the top here you have your two tabs. We're going to start with the left image, and for this image, first thing we want to do is we want to widen it. So I'm going to go to image, I'm going to go to canvas size, and here's our width. We pretty much want to double it in this case, just because we probably have half and half. So I'm going to go to width here, make it 17. Now down here where it says anchor is the direction where we want the space. So we want our space to go right. So I'll just click on this arrow here, and now it shows us that all the space will go to the right, and I'll hit OK. And now we have our file, and we have enough space to fit the second half in. Our second half is in this image, so I'll go over to image 3, and I'm going to use my move tool. That's this tool up at the top here. I'm going to click and drag this image over to this tab. And I'll drag it down, and there you go. I'll do that one more time just to show you again. Here's my other image. Again, using the move tool, you're going to hold down your mouse with a left click and hold. I'm going to move it to this tab, and then kind of holding on to that button still. And bring it down, and then I'll let go, and now I have both parts. Now what I want to do here is I want to line it up with the other image. We do have some overlap here on the half of that bear, and so that's what we'll use to line this up. One thing you can do on this top layer here, I can take the opacity down, and that's going to let me line up the other pieces. I will zoom in. You can zoom in by pressing Command and plus, and that will zoom you in. And you can nudge your image using the arrow keys. And that looks right. So now I can take my opacity back up, and I'll zoom back out. To zoom out, hit Command and minus. And now what I want to do is get rid of this line here. That's the edge of that scan that's a little darker on the top than it is on the bottom. All I'm going to do here is I'm going to erase. So I'll find my eraser. You can press E and find your eraser tool. The kind of eraser I want is a soft edge. So get a fuzzy circle here. And the size, I'd say probably 300 or so. That's a good size. And then the other thing we want to change is flow. So we're going to take this down. This is going to give us a little more control of our eraser. And then I can start to erase. And I'm just going to do short clicks. And I want to get rid of that seam. You can also kind of erase any extra overlapping parts that don't match. So that looks good. Matches. At this point, You could, if you need to, crop it. Sometimes you might have too much space that you created. So I'll do that right now. This is the crop tool here. And I'm just going to get rid of a little bit of this border. This is also a good time for you to rotate it or do anything where you can straighten out your image. Again, I'm just going to leave a little border here. And then I'll press return on the keyboard. And there is our image. Now the only thing left to do is to save it. So I'm going to go to File and Save As. And as always, you want to save a name. Put a name on this. Something descriptive. Try not to leave anything as untitled. So I'll call this Bear. And you want to also pay attention to where you save it. I'm going to just close this. So this is currently in downloads, and just so it makes it easier, I will put it in your desktop, on your desktop. So here's desktop. I'll save it there. The kind of file we want is a JPEG. So I'm going to change Photoshop to JPEG. Notice that it will change automatically the extension on the file. Format says JPEG. Now I can hit save. And JPEG options here. I'm just going to set it to 10 just so it's not too big. I wouldn't go any lower than that. And I'll hit OK. And that will save our file. And that's how you can put together your images.